All right, so let's kick this off. And your hosts, as we have always been, are Jeff and Mary. And you wouldn't know this because if you're listening to our podcast religiously, there's no break, but there actually was a break where we had some vacation time, and Mary went to Europe and I went to the Canadian Rockies to Lake Louise. And we've come back fresh with new ideas and some very, very important topics to bounce off of you so that our listening audience will always be challenged and see if you feel the way we feel about these topics.
Yeah, some hard-hitting questions.
They're
today
really hard-hitting.
to kick off the summer.
This particular episode will be entitled, What's Better? So you can imagine what's better. There's obviously a million things that you can ask that of, but what's better, summer or winter? When I was at Lake Louise in early June, you can't make this up, right? June. Summer here in the United States, and Lake Louise was frozen in the Canadian Rockies. So I kind of like that because it's so different than what I expected.
Yeah, you get a break from the heat.
Yes. And then we went along the Glacier Parkway, or Ice Parkway they call it, and all those little lakes that are along that parkway. And I think Canada is known for their national parks, even more so than the United States. There are very many of them, and you buy one park pass, and you can get anywhere from Calgary all the way to Newfoundland and the Maritime provinces. But if you're cold, you can always get warm by putting a sweater on. But if you're sweating like a farm animal, you really can't get cool. So I would say that the answer to the question of what's better would be, if you had to choose a season, it would be winter.
I agree with that. I think what I always forget when I'm looking forward to summer, because I'm one of those people who's always cold, so I do get a little bit sick of the winter.
Yes.
But I get excited for summer and I'm like, oh, it's going to be warm out. We don't have to worry about jackets. We get to go to the beach, do all this fun stuff. But I always forget about the bugs.
Yes.
And that's a big, annoying factor about summer that may sway me enough to say that winter is better.
Well, the funny thing, and it's a very astute observation, bugs in summer. And if you've noticed, and I'm posing this to our listening audience, if you noticed that bugs love to come into the house in the summertime because they don't want to be in the heat. They like homes that are air conditioned. Being inside for a bug is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why they come in, and we don't like that. And I actually find there's many more bugs in the summer than anything I've ever encountered in the wintertime.
Yeah, mosquitoes alone, terrible.
Mosquitoes alone, although ticks now have somehow
True.
managed to survive the winter because we're going through this climate change, and they're not dying like they should. And I found a few ticks that are hanging on me, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it's creepy. It scares you.
It is creepy.
Yeah.
It is creepy.
I've been told that turkeys eat ticks, and we actually have a lot of turkeys,
Really?
wild turkeys in our neighborhood, but they're equally as terrifying. So
a wild turkey.
Yeah.
So when you drive home, you might see a turkey on the road?
sure, or a whole pack of them.
I find that, well, hey, I drive home. Actually, you were with me at one time. We came back from some function, and we drove down the road, and there were 2 deer, or even 3 deer, hanging out.
Yeah,
And
we get a lot of deer too.
I don't know where they live.
But the turkeys are scary because they're like
Big.
tiny dinosaurs walking around
Yes,
the
they have
neighborhood.
that gizzard hanging down, and
yeah.
they do look terrifying.
Yeah,
Well,
but yeah.
it's a kind of like fun to have a wildlife experience, but I prefer to have my wildlife experiences in Alaska rather than on my own home road.
Yeah.
Hometown road. So let's move on because this kind of pithy conversation can bind up what you guys are thinking out there. So let's move the topic to dessert, right?
Okay.
It's summertime now. We're in the middle of this is being taped in early July, and you have to ask the question: is fruit considered a dessert? And I don't think so. I think.
Well, I mean, when you frame it as a what's better question, Would
Oh.
you ever pick fruit before any other dessert?
No.
So there you go.
That's just me because I love lard, and
What if the fruit is on the lard?
well, then okay, I would eat it just to get to the lard. But being overweight, I pride that you have to work at getting to be overweight. It just doesn't come easily. There's a lot of desserts that get you to that point,
Yeah.
and a lot of bread. And you have, I don't know where you come from because you can eat bread and eat a hamburger and nothing. You can have a kid and nothing. I don't get that, but I think
Never tell you my secrets.
yeah, don't you keep that secret because although if you ever wrote
It's
it,
ice cream. It's a
it
secret.
is ice cream. That is the all-time favorite, by the way, ice cream. And
Yeah.
you remember Howard Johnson's? They had 29 flavors.
I don't remember Howard Johnson.
Oh, you don't? We're dealing with an age gap here of like 85 years, and so. You have Mary, who hasn't ever experienced a Howard Johnson's.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
And
Isn't that a hotel? A motel?
Well, all right, a little sidebar here for those of you who are rolling your eyes saying, no, don't go into that because you know what Howard Johnson's is, but this is more for the benefit of Mary and her edification that Howard Johnson's was a kind of like a franchise restaurant with Ipswich clams, and it was a middle of the road food. It was middle of the road food, but it was always predictably sort of good, and it was an orange roof. And you would go to a blue siding, so you would have orange and blue, and you would drive down the road, and you go, "Oh God, there is Howard Johnson's." And my wife, Missy, would always say, "Let's go and get some Ipswich clams." And you couldn't say no to that because they would give you a ton of lemons and be great. Now, they also had 29 flavors of ice cream. So for years, this was the greatest thing. And then they added on a motel. So you could then stop there for dinner and go to the motel unit and spend the night before you continued your journey the next day. But for some reason, I still don't understand it. They all went out of business except for one up in Lake Placid, and I think it's still in operation to this day. I don't get it.
Was it a thing between, because doesn't Baskin Robbins has the 31
31,
flavors?
and that's what blew them out of the water. They never thought to go to 31.
That's it.
And that's it. You know how many times I've read about the story that the guy that created a soft drink for Pepsi. It wasn't Pepsi, but that was the company that owned it. And the first couple of guys that were in charge of creating new beverages and new flavors and new tastes, they came up with 3 Up. And it was a failure. Then 4 Up, and then 5 Up, still a failure. Then 6 Up, and they fired the whole group. And then the guy came up with 7 Up, and it was a huge success. Just to let you know that by going one step more, one number higher, you can come up with a great drinks. So 7 Up was popular. Now, going back to Howard Johnson's, they had 29 flavors. All of a sudden, Baskin Robbins comes up with 31 and blows them out of the water, and that's it for Howard Johnson's. But nevertheless, there's always a lot of ice cream around. Vanilla, chocolate, or perhaps coffee. That's it for me.
What's better?
What's better? So I always lose my train of thought as to what we're talking about here. But
Is vanilla the best? Or is it chocolate?
I would think if push comes to shove, you have to go with vanilla. But if you're having ice cream like twice a week, you would definitely switch off between chocolate and vanilla or coffee. Never strawberry or never.
No. Oh, because that's a fruit, so you're not going to want that.
Exactly. No reason to have fruit in ice cream.
Strawberry's kind of refreshing, though. You never have it.
I never do. If I'm not mistaken, if I heard you speak to somebody here saying that Cormac likes strawberry.
Yeah, both my kids love strawberry.
Okay. But
That's
you
their number
don't.
one. But no, I do. I guess I like it more now because I've had it more because of them.
Oh.
But I've become a fan recently. I always liked mint chocolate chip, but for some reason right now I'm really loving it.
Well, whenever I have friends to my house, I always have vanilla chocolate and coffee. And it never seems to satisfy people because people always want something else that I never buy. So knowing that, my wife sends me out to get the stuff for a party at my, not a real party, but a gathering at my house. So I said, let me get the worst ice cream that I can think of and bring it home and see what happens. Here's what happened. I got the vanilla, I got the chocolate and coffee, but I also got a quart of rum raisin.
Ah, yes.
Now, I looked at this thing and I bought it. And I said, no one in their right mind is going to want this. So when the dessert was being offered, I had my vanilla and the other like 6 people said, oh, I'll have rum raisin. I
guess because it was a novelty. I've never had it.
Yeah.
I've never tried it.
But people like raisins and apparently they like rum. And there it is. So I have a little bit of that left, which I'm going to throw out because I'm never going to have this party again.
Have you ever tried it?
No.
Now's your chance.
But that would mean experimenting. and why experiment? If you know that you...
But if you just have one little bite and then you have vanilla on standby to wash away the
Yeah. That
taste.
would be true. But then once you have a taste in your mouth, then the tastes that follow are spoiled.
forever.
Not forever, but for a couple of days. Because I'm thinking of the strawberry or the rum raisin that's rolling around there. And I really wanted just the vanilla and Haagen-Dazs in particular, not
that I agree
Eddie's
with.
or whatever that is.
Yeah. What's better of ice cream?
What's better? So
Haagen-Dazs.
then, what's better? Dogs or cats? I would think we may have touched upon this in an earlier episode, but for me, it's dogs, and particularly large dogs rather than small or medium, because dogs are really it's God's greatest creation. You can't beat a dog, and well, you can, but it's so bad if you do.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it's but the reason is a dog has an owner and is loyal to the owner, and a cat has staff. There is no...
They're independent.
They're independent, and to cater to a cat, you need a lot of people. It's never one person and a cat. So I go for the dog. What's better in my business, in my feeling, it's dogs. You don't care.
Yeah, I don't have either.
Yeah.
I think dogs are more fun and have more personality.
Okay.
And you can grow
Good.
closer to.
Yeah,
But
there's hope for you.
It's nice that cats sort of take care of themselves a little bit.
Right. Oh, God.
We have a stray cat who I love because we don't get any rodents in our house. I assume
the
because
cat takes care of it.
Yeah.
Do you feed the cat? A little?
No, that cat seems well fed.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a mess, but it always comes back.
But it comes back even though you give it nothing?
Well, we have so many birds and
so it thinks
stuff
you're
in our
feeding
yard, so I don't know.
I got it.
I feel like it's helping take care
Well,
of
there was a time when you had a dog, and I thought, okay, being a dog person myself, and then you gave up the dog, and
Right. Well, yeah, because it was not a good situation.
I know,
But
I didn't understand it. Your stock went down a few points with me when
Because I didn't want my dog eating my child.
Precisely. But now that I have a puppy, right, just 3 months old puppy, only 1 month because you don't get the puppy until it's 2 months.
Yeah.
So I've had this puppy, and I've said to myself, I understand why Mary got rid of the dog. I really do.
And you have a cute puppy.
I have a cute puppy, but this puppy, it requires so much effort and energy and care and attention, and also is a little bit unpredictable, like biting and drawing blood because it loves to bite my hands, and I bit my ear where my ear was bleeding. You can't stop an ear from bleeding because that's where the blood is.
Oh, gosh.
And I know I couldn't believe she bit my ear, but I didn't even know it until I looked at my shirt, going, "Oh."
But that's puppy love, right?
Yes, but I also then your stock went way up again.
Glad to hear it.
Because I said she was smart. She saw
Well,
the
the
problem.
thing is, your puppy's gonna grow out of that.
Yeah.
Mine was not a puppy.
So, and then the last question I have before we move on: do you want just a cheese pizza, or is pepperoni the best topping?
Oh, so what's better,
You
cheese or
don't-
pepperoni? I mean, I'd go cheese. It's classic.
It's classic.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong.
If you had to have a topping, it would be.
I like meatball.
Oh, really?
Actually.
Chopped meat ball. It's not. You don't know that it's a ball. It's just.
Yeah, it's
just-
no longer in ball
It's
form.
no longer in ball
but
form.
Yeah, I like meatball with maybe like a vegetable on there,
No, you would put like a
or like a
pepper.
or you know what's good, like a spinach pie with like the cream sauce. That's good too. Have you ever had
But
that?
not Missy has me get a vegetable slice every single time, and it has kale and it has spinach, and it has all these things that shouldn't.
That's the only time I like black olives, is on a pizza
Interesting.
mixed with other vegetables. Otherwise, I'm not really an olive fan.
Black olives on a pizza because it's surrounded by cheese.
Exactly.
Sea
If
of
it's
cheese.
surrounded by cheese, then
I got it.
and bread, then
and bread.
then I'll eat it.
Then, well,
And
there
it's healthy. It's
There
fine.
was this is just a sidebar for our listening audience. There was a time where Mary was dealing with some allergies and thought she might be allergic to
Gluten.
gluten
Yeah,
and
I went
bread.
gluten-free.
And it was to look at the dismay in her eyes that she said, "I got to stop eating bread."
Yeah.
It was a moment. It truly was a moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got past that, and now we're back into
Back into the bread.
eating loaves of
Loaves
bread.
a day.
So, is there any, comparison or things that can be contrasted between,
Well, it's summertime. Pool or beach?
well, because I'm overweight, I would choose a pool because it's private. Those days of having a six-pack and not even knowing it, you're just young and in great shape, and you walk out on the beach and dive in the water and
But like, there's all different bodies at the beach. It's not just.
exactly
People
that
live.
shouldn't be at the beach.
Oh.
Precisely. There are all different
No.
bodies at the beach.
All different bodies.
And-
everyone's enjoying it. Or you
Yeah.
hide in a tent.
But for me, the beach would be best, especially an ocean beach rather than a calm water beach, like on Long Island Sound. If you go to Fire Island and the waves are up, diving in there and swimming out and looking for sharks that will just bite your face.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
It's so scary now. Things that are underwater.
Yeah, it's freaky.
See, these are the things that God never really perfected. So he puts them underwater.
Just the afterthoughts.
The fish that has a light bulb hanging over its head, that thing, because it's down in the dark and it turns on the light bulb. And even other fish are going, there's no light down here. What's that? And they swim up to it and it kills. These are things that are underwater because God said, I maybe could have done better. And I don't want to swim with them. If I see a
Well,
platypus,
they're all the way down there, so I don't think you have to swim with them.
Yes, no, you don't have to worry about that. But there's always some little fish that's being chased by a shark, and if you're in the way, like if you get between a moose and a calf, the moose will kill you.
Sure.
And I don't want to get between a little seal pup and a shark, and I just happen to be swimming. No, it's not how I want to go. Or that girl.
I think really what we're coming to in this episode is that wildlife is terrifying.
Yeah, and there's more of it that is becoming more threatening. I never had these problems when I was jumping in the water in the beach. But anyway, your take on this, beach or pool?
Beach. Definitely beach.
Calm water or ocean?
Either.
Okay.
I just like the full experience, you know. You go to the beach, you're just doing whatever, relaxing.
You got.
kind of disconnected from the rest of the
Or
world.
do you bring a blanket, or do you bring those little chairs that sit a little above the sand?
We bring a little umbrella tent.
Tent?
Yeah.
Tent? You're in the tent?
I'm not in the tent, but for the kids, and you put the stuff in there, and
Oh, so nobody can steal.
yeah,
They-
and
they
like you put a
can't see
sheet
it.
down. No, I don't worry about that. But like if you have kids, like changing them and stuff in the
Oh, that's
tent,
out,
and
a
like, or
little
if they need to take a
personal.
nap or a break or something.
I totally get that.
Yeah, I don't know. We're usually moving around a lot at the beach, so we're not
Yeah.
sitting. But sitting in a chair sounds nice.
I did it the other day when I took the puppy to Fire Island, Gilgo Beach actually, and they have an off-road spot where cars that can do that. I have one that can go off-road, and we let the dog run on the beach. But I brought these two Tommy Bahama chairs that you pop open, and they're just about 3 inches above the sand. And instead of sitting in the sand on a blanket, you sit in a chair like a human being. And
I like laying on the blanket too.
yeah, well,
You know,
that again,
It's just that
youth,
you're gonna go. There's gonna be sand
there's the
everywhere.
difference. 85-year difference. you have a body that's done, and then you have a
No,
body
it's not.
that's young.
No, not even that. I mean, it's just you're.
It is.
It's all
fun.
casual.
It's all casual.
Anything goes. You just eat your snacks and.
So, all right, beach. Let's just take it one step. If you had to go on a beach vacation, even though you went to Europe and had a great time, but now let's say the next vacation is a beach vacation. Do you choose a beach in the United States, or do you choose a beach? A lot of amazing beaches all over the world. Would you want to go to a beach?
I would go to any of them. I mean,
So why not go to a local one
or-
and save the money?
I guess that's true. I would go to any of
No
them.
need in flying to Spain.
If you're offering me a beach vacation, yeah, no,
you
I'll
go.
go anywhere.
Côte d'Azur.
Yeah.
In France, those French beaches are stunning.
Yeah.
And well, okay, so you'll go anywhere. It's just the beach. Okay,
Beach.
fine.
Yeah. I'll do.
And I am not actually thinking of beach vacations. I do have an interest in going to Greenland. Just
Oh, we flew over Greenland. We saw the mountains.
you did on the
Yeah.
way back. Yeah,
No, the way there. Yeah.
on the way there. You have what's the other island? You have Greenland and Iceland,
Mm-hmm.
and they were wrongly named
Right.
because Greenland is Iceland,
Yeah.
and they have their capital is Nuuk, N-U-U-K. And I'm getting to a point in my life where my wife has actually gone for a week to visit her sister-in-law, and not with me, just so they can hang out in Seattle, Washington. And I'm at a point where I want to go to Nuuk by myself.
So what would you do there?
I wouldn't know. I have
But
never,
it sounds cool.
I would rent this would not be a 4-star situation. I would rent a room above a tavern, and then I would ask the guy on, everybody does fishing in Greenland. I would say, hey, let me go out on a boat, and I'll take some pictures and try to have interesting experiences while I was there, but not sit there and wait for a creme brulee to be served to me, which they have never served in Greenland. I don't know. They don't even know what a creme brulee is.
You could bring it there.
But I could bring it there, right? I could.
You could start making
could-
creme brulee
I
in
could bring a
Greenland.
cheesecake to die
Yeah. Yeah.
for. You know that Greenland is run by Sweden?
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, it's not a country that has a standing on its own. It's being served by Sweden, and the laws and the parliament and taxes all go to Sweden. And
Do they have an IKEA?
they might. I don't know. They only have like 8 people that live there. They've never.
They need furniture.
and they don't need it. They don't need it. But
So you would say what's better, beach vacation or Greenland fishing boat? And you would say Greenland.
I would,
Okay.
and you would be on a beach.
I mean, I go, yeah, I mean, I would do either. Any vacation sounds nice, but
But you just got back from one. That's just fine.
but yeah, I would say beach.
I'm thinking of that. And did you know that the founder of IKEA, since you brought it up, when he died recently, but his funeral was delayed by 3 days because the coffin that they ordered didn't come with that little key, so they couldn't put it together. And
The Allen wrench, right?
the Allen wrench, that one Allen wrench that puts all their furniture together, that was missing from the funeral box, and so his funeral was delayed. It's not funny, but I thought I'd try it. All right, so then before we move on to a serious question, a lot of you out there probably have kids that are in college, and a lot of you are wondering about the topic lately has been, is college really necessary? In other words, you go to college, are you really coming out with a skill that you can capitalize on and make money on and have a career? Yes, if you're a lawyer or a doctor, of course. But for general liberal arts or general studies, is it really? I'd rather invest the money. I would rather, the money that I spent on my kids, I would rather have said to them, you're not going to college. I'm going to give you all this money and put it into a stock fund, and then you will be so wealthy by the time you turn 30 or 40 because stocks have been going up so wonderfully. So,
And what would they do? Would they go to school?
no, they wouldn't be
any
in
school for
They
any
would
skill, or
work in a deli and make sandwiches. I don't know what they would do, but anyway, the trend has been to think that perhaps you're not getting the best return on your investment if you go to a college. Now, I know, Mary, that you disagree. I think, and I do too. I think you got to go to college.
I think it depends, but I believe that having a college degree is one of the major measurements of success for people in their lives. If you have a college degree, you're more likely to
Even if
lead
it's,
a better life.
lead a better life. And that's because you've shown people that you can do a job from beginning to end successfully, even if the topic that you came out with isn't directly applicable to,
Right, it could be different, which is fine.
Which is
people
fine.
end up in different things. But I think if somebody is interested in doing something that they get maybe a 2-year degree from a technical school or something, like that can be just
Yes.
as worthwhile.
Oh, totally. For some people who like to work with their hands.
Yeah, and a lot of those fields, I think, need more people. So
so, too.
it all depends.
Do you have any ideas of questions? I mean, of things that nothing. I know it's.
I'm going lighter with the iced coffee or hot coffee.
You had iced coffee the other day.
I did. I like it.
And I can't get my way into. I can't think my way into iced coffee. Only hot coffee, even in the summertime. But yet I have iced tea every day.
And I was going to say it's funny because you love ice,
I love ice.
but not iced coffee.
It just seems.
You love ice and you love coffee, but
It would seem. I've always associated coffee with that smell, aroma.
Sure.
And it in the morning. So
I usually have hot coffee in the morning.
And do you brew it, or do you have one of those pod pieces and you just make it?
I have a reusable pod, so I can put in whatever coffee into it.
A reusable pod?
Yeah.
You just got to fill it up a little
It's like
bit?
it's like the little pod, and then you put in whatever coffee you have, you close it up, and then you put it in.
How many different coffees do you have?
Whatever we have in the cabinet, I don't know.
Like,
So here's the thing. Ryan uses the whole pot for himself.
no. He just pours it cup after cup after cup.
He keeps it in the fridge because he'll have that in the morning for a couple days. He just saves it in the fridge and has
in
it
the
as
carafe?
iced coffee. Yeah. It's like not the glass carafe, the thermal
Thermal.
carafe. And so he'll keep that in the fridge. So I'm carafeless. So I just do the individual.
Right. And there's not enough. Well, now you have a new refrigerator. Is there enough room for your own carafe?
I guess there would be, but I don't need that much coffee.
No.
I'd rather have it fresh
I
every
see.
morning.
Me too. I feel the same. I got to brew coffee.
Yeah, you need the experience.
And there's something about being at the kitchen table reading a paper, and then there's coffee, that aroma in the room.
Yeah, no, I agree. But in the summer, it is nice to have a nice coffee. once I'm awakened by my hot coffee.
We should have more really good questions, and
We're just throwing them all out there.
we're just talking about anything now, so we're probably going to wrap this up. And next time, though,
We'll have the heavy hitting questions.
yeah, but they'll be funny, heavy hitting, not just like, do you think there's more fear in raising children today than there was in years ago?
Did we already talk
We
about
talk
that?
about that. I mean, kids play baseball in the street when I was growing up, stickball, and now you have to have a play date, and somebody has to drop the kid off at a friend's house, and they'll bring the kid back.
Yeah.
There's more organization for something that should be very spontaneous, and it somehow that lack of spontaneity seems to somehow dull the experience of raising.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure how, but I would assume that it kind of impacts how kids then grow up and handle different relationships and handle different situations because they didn't have that. You know, it was all monitored and organized
was all
instead of
monitored.
just being a natural thing where they're kind of just learning on their own. And
So this concludes episode 7.